Welcome to Whole Lot of Wolves, episode 23 of season 4. We're your hosts. I'm Joshua Buckley.
I am Paul LePage.
In New York City, our producer, Mr. Alex Patakis. How's it going, Alex?
It's good. Good to see you guys. How you doing?
Good, good. And then we have our social media expert, Mr. Danny Paletti from Baltimore. Danny, how's it going?
Doing good. That expert is doing a lot of work in that.
Hey, you're one win away from the Super Bowl, though. You're Ravens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's probably all that you know about it. Huh?
Yeah, we're gonna gather to celebrate Taylor Swift coming to Baltimore.
There we go. And boys, since we have a big game coming up on Sunday against the shit, we brought 3 people that can give us first-person accounts of what the Black Country Derby is all about. Starting off from New York City, one of Alex's big friends, Mr. Dan John of New York Wolves. How's it going, Dan?
Good evening, guys. Happy to be here and excited to talk about how much I hate Samwell Town.
and Dan is on a Peloton right now, so he's double dipping. This is awesome. From Atlanta, Whole Lot of Wolves' favorite curmudgeon, Mr. Andrew Smith.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Let's
Good.
talk some hatred this evening.
Hopefully you're finally on the Gary O'Neill train, but we'll get to that, Andrew.
You bet. I'm on board. Woohoo!
And then in the New England area, from his car after leaving practice, Mr. Ryan Gray. How's it going, Ryan?
Good, mate. Hi, everybody. Yeah, good to be back on.
And now, Ryan, you just got back from from England a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Went over Christmas and went to the Chelsea game over on Christmas Eve, and there was three games on while we were there, and we won all 3. So I was trying to get the missus to stay there, but she wasn't having any of it. So
I think you need to get the hell back over there for Sunday. How about the kiddo? How did the kiddo like it? That's what I want to know.
honestly, mate, it was such a proud dad moment. Like, just because my dad and my wife were sitting a little bit further away, so it was me and my lad sitting together, and seeing him taking it in, and seeing him fall in love with it was just such a cool thing to see. And all he's sang since we've come home is "I Are Wolverhampton" and Mario Lemina songs, so he's fully invested.
Andrew, you have kids, right?
Only the 4-legged kind.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what was it like bringing yours? But
No,
I guess they
only
weren't
the 4.
allowed. The dogs weren't allowed in there.
Mine would probably go to the changing room and go pee on West Brom players. Mine would probably do.
I was gonna say, if you brought a 4-legged player, a 4-legged person, clearly a West Brom fan, then, right?
Obviously.
Well, guys, before we get into the fun, we got to talk about the game that was today. We're recording on Monday. Paul, it was a 0-0 draw against Brighton. And by all accounts, most Wolves fans, A-okay with that. How about you?
It's not very often you can come away after a 0-0 draw and be quite positive and buoyed by the performance and everything that went with it. I think being away from home, a notoriously difficult opponent, plenty on that team that have run us ragged previously or scored against us. So to come away with the point, perhaps edge it. I know not in possession, but probably the quality of the chances. I think they could take a lot of positives from it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into the breakdown of the game. But Dan, this really says how far the team's come, that this was a squad they lost 4-1 to at the beginning of the year. And today going on the road and getting a point.
Yeah, I was really happy with it, listening to the game at work, half watching. I thought, at the beginning of the season, we'd have got pumped like we did. For us to come back and for Gary O'Neill's systems and the players to step into it, we could have really won today. We had a few of the better chances, so I'm really happy with how it's going.
Yeah, I do feel like Wolves were at times the better team in the second half. So let's start off with the lineup. Craig Dawson was back in the starting 11, and we finally saw the starting return of Pedro Neto. And boy, he was a threat all day, wasn't he, Ryan?
I think this second half of the season, he's going to be electric, and I think obviously we missed him while he was injured, but I think it might help him personally and not being so running to the ground. And now he's had that bit of, he's going to be unbelievable for the rest of the season. And what I was listening to it myself as well on the radio and hearing that he was playing more of a central role today, which is a little bit different to what he's been playing previously. But yeah, he's going to be incredible for the rest of the season.
Paul, it really feels like they've handled Neto's rehab and coming back from this injury well. They didn't just throw him in the lineup, chance of that hamstring getting hurt. They really did a good job building up minutes, and then it came through with almost 80 today.
Yeah, I think originally when you look back at the injury and all of those initial expectations, like 5 or 6 weeks, maybe, it's actually gone beyond that. And I think you forget that it's how well we've done that we've managed to do it without him. So I think the way the team's been performing has aided that there hasn't been that external pressure to rush him back because the creativity wasn't there. We've performed without him. So that's helped. I think the breaks helped, having the opportunity to warm weather train. That will be good. And to build up those minutes and then put him into a game like tonight where he could go from the start, I think that is the perfect really peak to get him back to match level sharpness.
Mario Lamina came back. He replaced Joe Hodge. And again, Tommy Doyle. And Andrew, what are your thoughts so far on Tommy Doyle?
Tonight, I thought in the first half, he struggled a little bit, but in the second, he really picked it up. I think for the £5 million that we can get based on the switch, I think we should sweep him up. I think that pass that he had through to Neto is incredible. He's a good, hardworking young lad and deserves a full-time contract. And I hope he considers Wolves if we make the offer.
An offer he can't refuse.
Exactly.
Danny, Brighton was really dominating the possession early on, some scary moments. How were Wolves really able to clamp down and stop what's been a high-powered offense?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, to be honest. I think that it's not overly complicated. I don't think we saw necessarily like a sort of like against City where we had the bespoke system where Craig Dawson is right up on Holland, or we weren't necessarily finding these man marking situations. It was more just seeing them out wide as much as we could, trying to stop those killer balls through the middle. And even then, I think in the first half we struggled with even that game plan because some of our errant passing came back to bite us almost. And then we had a couple of really good sort of last ditch defensive efforts that put some things behind. But overall, I mean, I think it was just a good, solid display. It's funny how you can sit there for 90 minutes and be so stressed about sort of sitting back and seeing these waves of pressure coming. And then you look back at it and it's hard to think of a real honest to God save that Jose Sa had to make. So overall, you'd have to say it's a pretty solid defensive display, even if I was a bit nervous throughout, but that's nothing new.
I think what didn't help for me was the constant reminders that we're only team not to concede from a corner. On the international broadcast, the commentators seem to mention it every time. And
still going strong.
I know, me being the eternal pessimist that I am when it comes to Wolves, I was just like, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Well, especially what we saw with NFL kickers over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, and that was the good thing. Defensively, there were a couple times it looked like Brighton was getting through, but overall they did strong. Ryan, I thought it was interesting at the halftime show. They were really highlighting how they were using Toti Gomez to really press up on Milner. And also, when he would do that, it would create kind of a back four.
Yeah, he tends to do the man marking job, doesn't he? I think he's a little bit more erratic than Dawson and Kilman, so he can kind of be a little bit more athletic and be a little bit more man marking in there. But yeah, defensively, I think we've come on so much from the start of the season, and the fact that we used to be teams that we used to go up against and think, well, we're going to get battered against them. I spoke to my mate today and be like, Brighton always batter us, like it's always going to. But now now we have a backbone, and it's took us a while to kind of build that solidity that we have, and having a consistent, going back to a back three from the start of the season and being consistent with those three that are there is certainly paying dividend and being solid. And defensively, we've been really, really good. And I think that's all come down to the hard work that over the winter break that we've just had over in Dubai and stuff. And the more that the group play together, the better we're going to be. But now we've got that. Now we've got a solidity and a backbone to know we're not going to get rolled over. Whereas last year there was a few times where we got rolled over. And now we're kind of in a position where we know under this group of players and the leaders that we now have, we were missing a lot of leaders last year and we didn't really have any, and now we've got countless on the field and we've got a bit of character. So I think that's holding us in good stead.
Dan?
Yeah, I do want to say, I think the defence was very solid today, and I think that comes down to Dawson. But I felt we were lacking that forward push. Like, I really do think Ryan Aït-Nouri was really missed today. That ability he has to just beat a man and move the ball down the field a bit, I think we were lacking that a little bit today.
Andrew, Gary O'Neill, with his TV appearances and also really with his game management, is starting to get that reputation of a good tactician and somebody that's able to adjust on the fly and everything. As one of his biggest critics early on, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'll eat crow because so far he has done an amazing job in getting the defense, but the team to believe in each other. They believe in themselves. And there's this no die attitude anymore. You remember when we got a goal behind or 2 goals behind, we would always give up. Now it's different. We've got this thing of, no, it's okay. They scored. We're going to go score another and hopefully keep at it. And it's just refreshing to see a team that won't give up. It's great. It's actually nice to watch. We haven't made that many bad games. The first 10 were very questionable, but since then, we've really steadied the ship, and it's good to see. It's great to see.
Ryan?
It also comes to the point where like it just needed time. Like you can see that Gary O'Neill's a really good coach on the grass, and you can see the patterns of play that we do, and he just needed a little bit of time, and everyone was a little bit worried at the start of the season, and he had 3 days before the season come in, and you can see the patterns and you can see the defensive structure and organization that he's got now, and like as a coach you can see that he's coaching the players and they're benefiting from the stuff they're doing on the grass and the stuff that they're implementing during games, and you can see there's a plan. We're not kind of going out there and just playing. I didn't really see a plan with like Large and stuff like that last year. I think now having O'Neill, he's got a philosophy, he's got a way of wanting to play, he's got patterns of play, and it just needed time to come to fruition, and you can see that it's working on both ends of the field. I think we've certainly scored more goals than last year, but defensively we've been much better as well. So,
Paul, again, the officiating got a little dicey there right before halftime. Cunha got a yellow for who knows. And I was worried when the way the players were reacting, talking to that referee heading into the lockers at halftime. I was like, did Cunha just get a second yellow? I thought for sure that was the case with the way Neto and Lamina were acting, but that referee just was starting to lose control, wasn't he?
Just inconsistency again, with these officials, time and time again, it boils down to certain things are given, certain things aren't, certain things are fouls that others aren't. Some of those fouls are yellows, others aren't. Some of those are reds and others aren't. what got me thinking today is that we're crying out for this consistency. We're really asking for technology to be of a benefit to the game. So where was that replay of Billy Gilmore's challenge on Cunha that actually started it all? You couldn't see it, yet it certainly worked in their favour when they got to send Bellegarde off for an off-the-ball incident that was behind the play. So why isn't there a consistent set of cameras at every ground dotted around the pitch, all at a certain height, all at a certain level? Whereas you probably only got one at Luton because it's in the back of someone's garden in a shed, that it's probably that close. At Brighton, they're probably zooming in from the top of the stand. So it's these elements, that sending off. No one knows. We certainly don't know what the challenge was or whether it even warranted a card. But then again, if that happens the other way around at Luton, does Bellegarde stay on because they haven't got the footage to look at? So it's just these elements that I find frustrating. We want some consistency. We want technology to be of help, but it's badly implemented.
Amex has the same cameras as Anfield.
Yeah, exactly. Same goes,
Surprise! Convenient blind spots.
Exactly.
Dan, what do you think can be done about the officiating at this point?
I mean, it's really tough to say at this point. Obviously, I played a lot of rugby, come from a rugby background. I know it's been said over and over again, but just more open communication, allowing people to know what's going on and why they're thinking the way they're thinking, would go a long way to this. And I wouldn't even, I know in the UK, I think they have a ref show where they have Michael Owen and Howard Webb try and break stuff down. But I don't even think that's coming across very well. It really, for what we're trying to sell as a British product, as the best in the world, to have the officiating lacking, I think, undermines it a little bit. But as to what to do about it, I think one of the things I will say as well, and I hate to keep going back to rugby, but it is the way we treat refs. And I don't necessarily just mean at a Premier League level. I mean at a grassroots level. My brother was reffing in and around Wolverhampton for a few years to make money. And he quit because he was just getting dogs abuse every single week from kids, from parents, from everybody. And is it really worth 50 quid to be screamed at by, 30 people? It's not. So then people aren't progressing from referees at lower level to move up the ladder because at lower level, they're being treated so badly, they just don't care anymore. But it's, I don't know what we're going to do about it.
So Ryan, that's on you. You got to stop yelling at coaches, man, or referees, man.
Yeah, I know. I've had a few yellow cards in my day.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Andrew, what's your solution? You always got solutions. Let's hear it.
You mean in the professional or what they were just mentioning at the lower level or just general?
Just general.
Well,
Or for Ryan.
for all sometimes of its challenges and issues, the NFL has it right. There are certain things that the NFL does well on replays, and they study and look, and they make a decision fairly quick. What we see is exactly what the refs see, and it should be an advanced technology. Goal technology works well, but when it comes to fouls, off-field incident, a little shove here and there, it's pathetic. And I agree, is the fact of our refs used to be the best in the world, the British refs, and now you look at the degrade of quality. It's sad. The person that's making the critical decisions that can cost teams very serious points, and we've already had that happen to us this year, 7 or 8 points lost, should be the cream of the cream, and they're not. And as he was mentioned earlier on, for £50, you're getting blasted by youthful, terrible, spoilt children and parents. Then immediately, if you come within 5 feet of a ref, you send off. That's it. Come within 5 feet, you're off. Just done with it. Once you set the boundary and set the rules, it'll stop. No matter how emotional you get. And we have some very emotional players. Cunha, Neto today. I want to know, did anyone see what happened in the tunnel? It seemed, did anyone catch anything there? There was something went on in the tunnel tonight, and I don't know what happened there either. But
I think it was just carryover for him getting the yellow for seemingly nothing. Dan?
mm,
I just want to get everyone else's opinion on the reffing thing here. For me personally, if you get rid of VAR for everything apart from offsides, I think I'd be okay with refs missing stuff and making mistakes and saying, you know what, they're human. What I'm not okay with is when they watch a replay 15 times and still come to the wrong decision. That's what frustrates me. If they miss it in real time, you know what? Three people are looking at a game. You know, if they all come to the same conclusion and it's wrong, they've done their best. When they can see it 50 times and it's wrong, that's not good enough, in my opinion.
My personal opinion is what they need to do is have the referee look at anything that's questionable, not this. Let's spend 5 minutes and decide if the ref's going to look at it. Like, if it's a question, boom, have him look at it. That's what the NFL does. Ryan?
Yeah, I think with the VAR stuff, the only problem, I think at times it works really well, at times it's terrible, but it can't be implemented from the top level to the bottom level. So, like even in the FA Cup, not everybody in the rounds got VAR. If you're playing at Accrington Stanley, they haven't got VAR, but if you're playing at Man United, they've got VAR, and it's just not a level playing field. Like if you're playing on a Sunday morning, you haven't got VAR, have you? It's the referee that makes a decision, and again, like we just said, like Dan just said, it's three guys that are reffing a game, and if they come to a decision that that's the decision, okay, that's the decision. You're not going to be able to change it. But because there's VAR now and we see it 20 times, everyone's got an accelerated opinion because we've seen it 20 times. And if it just happens because that's the decision that we've made, that's it, right? And even at grassroots level or even with kids, we don't have VAR at kids level and stuff like that. So I just think if we're gonna have it, it's got to be able to be taken out of the not taken out of the referee's hands, but it's got to be black and white like it is goal line technology. If it's a goal, we know it's a goal. Whereas if it goes out, we need to know if it goes out or not. Like the Newcastle goal where it went out, or did it go out? Did it not go out? How have we not? There's so much money in the game. How have we not got enough money that you couldn't put like a laser all the way around the field and knowing that if it's in or out and stuff like that? I don't know. Just something like that. The amount of money that's in the game, and they're still making decisions wrong. And but again, it can't be implemented all the way through. So I don't know what's right and what's wrong, really.
It looked like a couple of good chances, Paul, for a while. It just seemed like the timing between Neto and Cunha was just a little bit off, timing a little bit off, or where the other one was going to be. Honestly, the two of them could have connected for 2 or 3 goals today.
Yeah, it was those fine margins, and I think that's not an issue, but you're kind of experimenting with Neto down the middle today, and that's going to take a while to form. And I think there was a couple of times, particularly his chance, which was like a cross shot, and you're just waiting for a tap in at the back post, and Cunha was a few yards behind, and it's like that's what you're waiting on. That's where you need that number 9, ideally, to really spot it and feed off it. And likewise, I think there was one that came in from across from the second half as well that kind of went right across the 6-yard box that you were waiting on. Neto, he stopped his run, he checked it. If he'd have carried on, he'd probably been in. So it's those elements. Maybe they're gonna come with partnerships forming and getting their groove back. But certainly some positives that you've got that potential output from the pair of them in the same team. It's exciting.
Alex, did you like Neto in the middle for the most part?
Yeah. I mean, I think today it worked. I think all of the threat that we provided, which did feel like the better of the chances, basically came as a result of that, save for maybe the Lamina shot, which was actually a pretty decent chance as well.
It was, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was Neto that fed him. I think that was a Doyle outlet to Cunha. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I mean, I love how interchangeable our forwards are, and Paul was saying like maybe a 9 is on the end of that cross that he missed Cunha on the back post. So what I wonder is if we feel that good about Neto and Cunha being so versatile and being able to play everywhere, like if we do get a 9 in January, or that's on loan or not, like is that the front three, the new 9 and Cunha and Neto, or but then how do you take Hwang out of the team?
Yeah,
Like
how you
I'm
take
just
Hwang
curious.
out?
Like,
Yeah.
not that we have an embarrassment of riches, but like you can't drop Neto or Cunha at this point, right? Like, and you can't really work all of them into the team, but we do still as versatile and fast and direct and blistering on the counter as they are. There's still a little bit of that lack of a true like quality finisher, and maybe Hwang is that guy, and that's who we were missing today. Perhaps I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, it's
We
tough.
definitely need somebody to be in the middle. The amount of times we get the ball into a good position and it would go across the box, just crying out for like a natural finisher to get on the end of it. It's good that we get it into the positions, even against a team like Brighton, but we need just a finisher to just put a few of them away.
It's going to be interesting coming up with a transfer deadline. All right, guys. I think there's not going to be a consensus. I think it's going to be kind of all over the place, but I'll start with you, Paul. Who was your man of the match?
I'm going Doyle. Little counter to Andrew.
I knew it.
Thought,
I knew he'd go Doyle.
I won't give my close second, but the close second was more of a team effort from the defense. I think I felt Doyle shone in a midfield where Lamina didn't have his best of games, so he stood out for me.
Andrew, who's your man of the match?
Semedo. That crucial tackle. He timed it
What
perfect.
a tackle! What a tackle!
That was going in. That would have been the back of the net. He did an amazing job. Yeah. Semedo, and then Doyle for me as my very, very close number 2 for sure.
Ryan?
I agree with both Doyle and Semedo, but I think for me, just edging it would be Semedo as well. I just think the difference in that guy is incredible. He couldn't defend to save his life before this season, and now he's turning into a really solid right back. I know he doesn't give us that much going forward, but defensively he's improved so much.
Dan?
I'd go Semedo, but just to give something else to talk about, I like the way Cunha, I like his attitude. I like that he runs and he tries. And I think the way he plays helps us turn and get going forward, because the moment he picks up the ball, he only has one direction in mind. So I'll give him a good second place.
God, I was tired just looking at him at the end of the game. My goodness. Danny, who was your man of the match?
Yeah, I'm going to put another vote in for Doyle on this one. I was texting with my buddy and just saying how I know that we need reinforcements, but at the same time, if Hwang weren't gone and if João Gomez weren't suspended, you can't play with 4 midfielders and 4 attackers. So someone's sitting on the bench. So it's a good problem to have. But Doyle once again showing that he's really stepped up in the last month.
Yeah, and we got that option to buy. They might as well. I'd be fine with them. Well, I guess they're not going to do that just because of FFP. But as far as Andrew's thing of, I hope he wants to come. No, dude, we're signing you. Suck it up. You're playing at Wolves for a couple years.
Good.
I'm led to believe that it's a formality. I think it's already done. It was just because of financial fair play. I think it's already wrapped up.
Yeah. Great business there by Hobbs. Alex, who was your man of the match?
I think I was also going to say Doyle. He's incredibly decisive when we do win the ball back in the midfield, and he's the perfect midfielder to get the ball forward to Neto or Cunha. And yeah, I just can't believe the kind of player that we got basically as a throw-in for Matthias, who never quite worked out here and isn't working out there either. Like, They just wanted to give us this guy as like a make good on a deal it looks like we made out like kings on, but it's hard to pick because
I'll
Semedo
take it.
made João Pedro look. Semedo seems like he's the most frustrating player to play against because a lot of these forwards just have so much of the ball in and around the penalty area and can't create a chance out of it. But Doyle, I think, what a performance! Yeah, I thought his second half today was incredible.
Let's
Hard
remember
guy to
Doyle
drop.
cleared one off the line too.
That's right.
Yeah, like how do you drop that guy, man? Like it's
It's tough.
remember
Yeah,
when we had no midfielders?
Oh
It's gonna
God.
be tough. I think honorable mention needs to go to Neto, of course. I thought he hustled his butt off. And also Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson was doing really good in the aerial game today, which I thought made an impact. All right. Now it's the reason why all y'all are here. And probably all the listeners are wanting to listen to. Because on Sunday, screw the regular season. We got one thing in mind, and that is beating the shit out of the shit in the FA Cup. Boys, here it comes. Black Country Derby. First time in how many years, Paul, in front of fans?
Wow.
I think
don't
it's
know.
8 or 10.
A lot.
I believe it's
Yeah.
12 years
12
since
years.
it's been in
12.
front of fans.
Good God.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an early wake-up call, though. They definitely did not think of us Americans, which is fine. 6:45 a.m. Eastern. Danny's already said he's going to have one beer. 5:45 a.m. for me and Paul. So it's going to be an early morning, but I think we're all going to be set for this, right, Alex?
We are. I just wanted to get clarification before we really dive in. Danny said he was going to have 6 a.m. beers if Wolves won, but he's awfully pleased with the 0-0 draw today. So where does that leave us?
Yeah,
Fair.
that's true. I would say I've pretty much been peer pressured into drinking pregame anyway. People took my my promise that it was like if we didn't win today, then I wouldn't drink any beers that day, and that's obviously ridiculous. So I told my good friend Edgar semi-jokingly, so you're gonna come over at 6 a.m. on Sunday and we're gonna shotgun a few beers, right? And his response is dead serious, I will, followed by the saluting emoji. So I guess that's happening.
Sounds like game on.
We need video. We need a whole lot of Wolves video here.
We'll see if I can figure out how to operate my phone at that hour.
All right, so we brought in Ryan and Andrew and Dan because all three of them have actually been to the Derby in person. Who wants to start? Andrew, we'll have you start. Seniority.
What would you like to know?
What was it like? Tell me, as a fan who has never been to a Black Country Derby, what the atmosphere is like.
Electric, nasty, just passionate. It's a game that if the stand collapsed and all the West Brom fans fell on the field and it's a rivalry that
well, this nigga turned real quick.
it's a rivalry that it's hard to explain. You have to go, you have to be there in person to experience it. To be here in Atlanta and see, I've seen one West Brom fan actually at the pub, and needless to say, he was not very gracious in being ambassador to the club, if you like. But it's just a great time. The biggest concern is whoever wins, you have the bragging rights, and hopefully, I don't care if we win 1-0 or 100-0 on Sunday. Just beat them. I don't care how we do it. I just don't care.
You do care. If we won 100,
well, I do. But I do. But come on.
Paul.
That's what we miss out on a little, is the whole build up to it, and walking out your door in the local neighborhood, turning across the street and then seeing one of their flags because they live among you, or they're even part of your own family. There could be a relative, there could be an in-law that they're the ones with the six fingers and everything. It's like it's that close, it's that compact in terms of local community. You got the whole build up to it now, and then the bragging rights immediately afterwards, going to work the next day or school or college based on that result. It's unimaginable if you're on the wrong side of one. Really is.
Dan?
Unfortunately, my aunt married a very, very big Albion fan. So just like us running a supporters club for West Brom. And so it is a matter of life and death that we win this game on the weekend. I cannot have to listen to him just start texting me because I don't know. I'm sure we'll get onto it, but our record over the last few meetups for this game has not been good. And it doesn't matter how long ago the last game happened. The winner holds the belt, if you will, the lineal title. And we have to listen to them talk crap about it. So we need to get that back this weekend, and we need to knock them out of the cup.
Ryan, you said that your experiences with the Black Country Derby didn't turn out so great.
No, we my one and only Black Country Derby was the famous 5-1, where Mick McCarthy got the sack the following hours or something. So that was when I was working at the club and I was like 2 feet from the field. But like just going back to like the atmosphere and stuff like that, the atmosphere it's honestly nothing like I've ever experienced before. I've been in stadiums where there's been 100,000 people, but it's nothing like that. Like as Andrew said, it's nasty. That's like a perfect word for the derby. It's like I know loads of West Brom fans and like you know of them and stuff. Because they're West Brom fans, you just don't like them. Like that's what it's. You just don't like them because they're West Brom fans. Like I'll go to the other side of the street if like they're walking down the street. You know what I mean? I don't think our derby gets as much credit as how like vicious and hatred is between the two. Like you look at other derbies that they have in the Premier League and across the UK and stuff, but the Wolves West Brom derby doesn't get the like the media coverage and the build up as other derbies do, and it really and that might be because we haven't actually played each other that much recently. And my lifetime, we haven't won very many during my lifetime, really. So, we've always kind of been I think it's changing now, but my lifetime, we were always seen as like the smaller club. Like when we used to come up against them, and it always used to be, "Oh, we'll always beat you" and stuff like that. So, I can't stand fucking West Brom. I can't wait for us to smash them this weekend. It's the first time I've ever been on the side where like we're actually the bigger and better team. But I just hope that doesn't bite us in the arse because it's Wolves, isn't it? So,
Paul?
At their place at the Hawthorns, I've actually not got a bad record of being there live. I think the ones that I've been to two, I think. So I'm undefeated. And the first one was back in 1996, and it was Ewan Roberts' hat trick. And that was just like totally unexpected and like a bright sunny day. And then within a matter of minutes, you were 2-up against like your arch rivals. And you just knew that was going to be it. And we went on to, he got his hat trick, Bully scored, and it was just everything that you wanted. And it seemed like there was a few games in that era, either they'd beat us or we'd beat them. We got the double against them that season. Back at Molineux, Roberts scored again, Dean Richards scored. And there were times like that when we were like untouchable. But since then, especially at the Hawthorns, it's just been so barren. That's why I think Sunday's so important, just to break that record.
Ryan?
all right. it's funny you mentioned 96. That was what I heard on the radio today. That's the last time we beat them at the Hawthorns was 1996. So that's a long time ago that we haven't got one over on them at their place, and it's no, we've got to win this weekend. That's it.
So funny thing, guys, I always put all the Wolves games on my calendar, and my wife saw it for Sunday, and I didn't put versus West Brom, I put versus the shit, and so she was like, "Well, how do you pronounce that?" Because she's figuring it's like some kind of weird English thing. Because I put the e at the end too. She's like, "Well, how do you pronounce that?" I said, "Shit." She's like the poop shit. I go, "Yeah, shit." She thought that was their actual name for a while until I said something about the baggies, and then she's like, "Wait, no." I don't know which of you guys is familiar college football stuff besides Alex. Dan? Okay,
A
Dan.
bit.
I was trying to explain it to my wife. The only thing I could think of would be like Alabama or Auburn or Ohio State, Michigan. What do you think, Dan? How does this compare to those type of rivalries?
I think there's definitely a comparison to be made, but I think one of the big differences for me would be for a lot of the fans, especially those at the game, they're born Wolverhampton. You know, you grow up with those guys in the next town, in Gornal, in West Bromwich, whatever, Sandwell. We hate those guys. They support the other team. Whereas when you go to a college, you come from all over the country, so it does have a bit of a difference there. But the passion, I put it up there. You're looking at like an Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn. The crowd will be going nuts, but without the crowd violence at the college football manages to avoid people. I think last time they came to the Molineux, they were throwing seats. Their fans were ripping the seats off and chucking them into our lads. So hopefully not too much of that.
Hooligans, huh?
Full on
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So here's a question. I'm going to start with you, Paul. Would you take a Wolves win, guaranteed win, if it meant Wolves would finish 17th this season? So just like 1 point above relegation.
This season I would, yeah, because I'm just convinced it'll take us on to win the FA Cup and we get into Europe that way. So I'm all about it. Deal.
Ryan, I saw you shaking your head, yes.
Yeah, done deal. I'll snap your hand off now.
Dan?
I'd have to say yes, because we're staying in the Premier League and I just can't bring myself to lose to them. If it was a battering, double yes. But just for a win, I'll give you a yes.
Okay, well now then I'm going to ask a tougher question, and I'll start with Andrew. Would you rather have Wolves finish 5th and be guaranteed a Europe spot, or beating West Brom on Sunday?
Beating West Brom. Period.
I love it.
Period.
Paul?
Forget. No, I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's been too long, and
Yeah.
we might not play him again for years. So take the opportunity. Let's just smash him, please.
Dan?
That would be an incredible season. But for me, it would have an asterisk next to it. Lost to West Brom. And that asterisk wouldn't be worth it.
Ryan?
Forget Europe. You can get in Europe any other season. You don't get to play the baggies every year, do you? So,
Alex, we're new fans. We're supplement new fans. Hearing that, is that surprising to you?
I'm more surprised at the answer to the second question. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I'm not surprised about the surviving relegation.
Yeah, that's why I had to make it a little different there.
But
No, I
yeah.
get it, because maybe it's just I spent too much time online. But can you imagine Wolves, by some miracle make Champions League and everybody's elated, it's amazing, start going through all the early games in the Champions League, and the only thing you will see on Twitter is Baggies fans saying, but you couldn't beat our 8th place championship team that season. I promise you that will be on replay until the next time that name gets pulled out of the draw for the Carabao or the FA Cup. And that, like Paul said, that could be forever, you know.
Okay, raise your hand if you've had some kind of bet in the past with a West Brom fan regarding the result of the match. Okay, Andrew, let's hear it. What was it?
It was just a nice friendly wager, 50 quid, and pub of choice to go and drink, and drink to your drop. And fortunately, we won the game 2-0 at the Molineux, so I got off paying, but I had a terrible hangover the next day. But that's all right. That's the
Totally
best part
worth
of it. Yeah, absolutely, 1000%.
Brian?
My uncle had a bet with a Baggies fan years and years and years ago, and the bet, and I think it was away, like money wise, at some point. But my uncle took it a bit further, and the West Brom fan woke up with the Wolves' head in his front garden the next morning. So,
Like an or is it a stuffed
spray
wolf's
painted,
head or
yeah, spray painted into his front garden was the Wolves' head.
Okay,
Good one.
I was thinking
Josh
somebody
had
went to
scenes of
the
The
zoo
Godfather
and
there.
freaking.
Yeah, well, at least he wasn't a Godfather, with the horse's head in the bed. Whoa.
I mean, based on what you guys have said, it would not surprise me if there was an actual wolf's head in somebody's front yard. Dan, any weird bets with West Brom fans?
No, unfortunately, I try not to bring myself to speak to them as much as possible. I do remember when my uncle, the very devout West Brom fan, came to my wedding. He had a special chair of honor, suitably decorated in all gold and black. He was made to sit in all evening. But that's about as far as I've gone.
I love that.
Good one.
Love that.
Nice.
So, guys, I don't know if you saw this after the match, Gary O'Neill's press conference. He said the lads fully understand how big the West Brom game is, and anyone who doesn't will be made well aware. Paul, legend already? Yeah.
I think that gives me a little confidence, a little more confidence actually, because all due respect to Nuno for the last time we played, wholly different circumstances in terms of not having fans there. But even so, O'Neill will know about this game more than Nuno did. And he'll know more about a derby, what it means, all of that. So if he's referencing that in those terms, then he knows. And I think that's going to be transmitted to the players, and that gives me confidence.
Well, yeah, to follow you up, Paul, I saw Kuna's comments about comparing it. He said he's played in Brazil, Argentina, Atletico, Real Madrid, and now he's excited to be playing in the Black Country Derby. So it really does seem like Gary O'Neill's getting that message to the players and getting them hyped up as well.
Andrew, what do you feel like hearing that quote?
I probably would. I'm going to say is he's probably going to play some games, find some old DVDs or tapes or something, and play in front and say this is what it means. Because I know they interviewed was it Cunha tonight or Neto, and he wasn't quite sure at the end of the game of I'm hearing more and more about this, but he's going to get them fired up. And I think playing some of the some of the old games, maybe even show the 5-1, the way that game went down, how much it's disappointing to the town and city of Wolverhampton to go through that, and the fans. And I think he'll have them well prepped. I don't know how we're going to play. I don't know if we'll thump them or just beat them. I guess my question is if we draw, is it back at the Molineux?
I'm pretty sure there's a replay. Yes, I think this is the last round with replays.
I think you're right.
Yeah, the fifth round is where there's no longer replay, so this has a replay this round.
Okay, so I'll ask everyone on here if we drew 1-1 or 2-2, what would you feel about bringing the game to the Molineux? How do you think that will be an electric atmosphere?
Paul, I'll let you
Curious.
start.
I don't like it. It scares me in the bragging rights for them to come to ours and beat us as the Premier League team, and they're in the Championship. That's scary. I just think playing away from home, I think it plays into our setup a little bit better, and I think we can use that to our advantage. Where if we have to go more on the front foot at home, it could trip us up.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I'd rather just get it out of the way. Just get it,
You're
get
done
it
with
done
it.
just get it done at their place. And I mean, my wife's already been telling me to be like, "Oh, you're dead excited for this game, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, like it's massive." And I couldn't do another week of that, of like building myself up for it. I don't think I've got the emotional capacity for that. Just batter them at their place, and that's it. Sail off into the sunset. You wallow in the Championship while we play in the Premier League.
I think Dan's going to have a similar idea as well.
Yeah, no, I echo that. I couldn't deal with another week of stress. I want to go there. I want to show them who's the better team. I want to humiliate their supporters. And it is a disadvantage to play away. But look at it like this. There'll be more Albion supporters there to witness their loss firsthand than if it was at Molineux. So let's go their shithole and just batter them.
It's always
Right.
better going into somebody else's backyard and battering them. So
Yeah,
just go in their backyard and go and smash them.
totally agree. All right.
Now, Ryan, do you feel like this is going to be a soul crushing one for them if they lose?
No, because they've always got the out of like, we're in the Championship. You're supposed to beat us. That's their out, isn't it? Like they've always got an out. So we're meant to beat them. We're supposed to beat them. We're the Premier League team. We've got the bigger budget. We've got the better players. If we beat them 1-0, they've still got an out and be like, we're in the Championship. We're 8th in the Championship. Like, you should be beating us. So unless we twat them, then they ain't really got an excuse. So we've got to not just win. We have to beat them convincingly because they've got the out of being in the Championship.
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that regardless, after we win, we can derail any hopes they have of getting towards the promotion places. They can go on a bit of a tanking run. That'd be good. I'd take that. Just break their confidence.
So that was going to be my next question. And I feel like as an American fan, this is a fascinating one to me. Currently, they're sitting 5th, which means they would make the 14 playoff for that last call-up spot. Would you like to see them get promoted to the Premier League just for the chance to potentially beat them twice and send them back down, Paul?
I'm always looking at the Premier League as the opportunity for points. So that's why I'm less nervous on Sunday, because there aren't that points at stake. Now, would I be confident in them coming up? I probably would be, but it's like, would I rather play a team that doesn't have that pressure for 2 games that a derby brings? We've already got the Villa, that's amped up a little bit. The Albion's like amped up 10 times more. So to have those 2 extra games where I want to be concentrating on getting the most possible, I'm content for them to stay down and wallow.
I have a feeling that's Dan's answer too.
Surprisingly, no. Despite our last 4 games in the Premier League being losses, I do feel a little bit of a loss not playing them every year. Like, I know that when I was growing up, we were in the Division 1 Championship, so we would play them almost every year. Then they went up for a while, which is a horrible place to be when you're sitting in the division below and they're sitting above you. That was awful. I'd like to see them come up so we can send them back down.
I like that. Ryan?
Yeah, I quite like having the Midlands clubs all in the same league, whether it's in the Premier League or when we were in the Championship. It was just it's good for Midlands football having all the Midlands club in the same league, but it's also more stressful because every other week you've got a derby. So, but West Brom could go into administration into the conference for all I care. I'm not bothered.
Andrew, how about you?
Cool.
You want to see him get promoted?
No, I'm with Paul. I would rather let them stew in the next division or even go another league down. Couldn't care less. I hope they just go away, But sometimes you do miss that rivalry. But no, I would rather stay there. And I hope they miss the playoffs again. Fingers crossed.
Best
As
case
an American
scenario
fan.
is they get all the way to the playoff final and lose.
So as an American fan, and I think this can be one thing that UK supporters would not like. And let me see if Alex has the same thought I do. I definitely want to see them. In fact, I will be rooting for them to get promoted because I want Wolves to have that chance to beat them and send them down. Alex, are you with me? I know Danny's not.
Kind of. I think I'm wired more that way. Is
Yeah.
that the built-in, derby twice a year, I think is something that's exciting for me. But I'm also a newer fan without all the deep scars that everyone else on here has. So I don't know. And I'm also maybe just way too optimistic, like just assuming that we would beat them if they come up, and as opposed to focusing on the what if we weren't to do that. So
And that I think is definitely a huge difference between guys like us and guys like the rest of you. Danny was standing is we didn't grow up with the neighbor being a shit fan, right, Danny?
Yeah, I suppose. I've just been too indoctrinated into to Stu's theory that we're just cursed against teams in blue and white stripes. And more than that, I mean, teams that are lower opposition in the Premier League, even, your Huddersfields, your Sheffields. If they came up, I would just look at those with even more dread, those two matches.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad Alex is on the same wing, so it makes me feel like, okay, that is what I think most Americans would feel like is, yeah, we want them up. But that's been to me the most fascinating question to ask UK guys is, would you want them up? And for the most part, no, fuck them. I love it. I love it. Stick to your guns, guys. It's great. All right. Well, let's talk predictions now. We Paul, guess what? You got a point.
Paul got one.
You got a point with a 1-1 draw. You didn't gain any ground on me because I also had that draw. And I made a couple extra bucks on it as well. So now I am tied with the guest spot at the top of the table with 17. Alex, you've got 16. Danny, 14. And then Paul, hey, 8 points. That's better than 7, right? You had been on a little bit of a slump.
The comeback started.
The comeback has started. I think I know what all of the answers are going to be here because everybody's afraid they'd lose their Wolves fandom club pass if that was the case. But I'm going to start with Andrew. What is your prediction? And I also want to know goal scorers.
So I will say, if we play like we did today, I'll say that the Baggies won't get anything and we'll get 3.
Ooh.
I'll put down the score as Cunha. I will go with Dawson and I'll go with Neto.
I love it with Dawson. Ooh, that's juicy.
Yeah.
That's juicy.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah.
I was also thinking, I'll go for a 2-0 win. I want a 3-0, but I think it'll be a 2-0. I think it'll be a bit more cagey and physical. I'm going to go for a Lamina and a Neto goal. And controversially, I think somebody from the midfield is going to get sent off.
From Wolves midfield?
One of the sides. If I had to bet for us, I think Lamina might score and get a red card.
Oh man, I don't know if we
Instant
can handle
statue.
everything. Yeah, instant statue.
Oh boy.
Ryan, what's your prediction?
Just to heal all my scars from my game going there, I'll take a 5-1.
That's for Clive, baby.
And
Clive on Wolves.
we'll go
Yes.
Neto hat trick. We'll go
Let's go.
Lamina and just to rub it in their face even more because he doesn't score any goals, Tomato.
Oh, ooh, I like it.
Nice one.
Okay, Danny, what do you got?
I like the sound of 2-0. I agree with Dan. I think KG and physical sounds about right. I did subject myself to one of their recent games when there were no other games on a couple weekends ago. And that sounds about right to me. So I'm just going to say 2-0. I think KG until certain ex-West Brom player Craig Dawson scores in the first half, and then Cunha finishes us off in the second half.
Okay. Alex?
I like the 3-0, actually. I'm going to go with that as well. I think the attitude of this team is well suited for a game like this. And we are capable of scoring, and we like to sometimes score multiple goals, which is not something we've said about Wolves in a while. So I think they do what they're supposed to do. My goal scorers will be Cunha, a Tommy Doyle screamer, and this will be sweet for him because he's from Wolverhampton. A Nathan Frazier, like 85th minute to finish him off and celebrate
Let's
in front of
go.
the away end goal.
You do realize they will not bring in any striker whatsoever if Frazier does that. It's a
I do. I do realize that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. That's another statue right there. All right, Paul.
I'm on the 2-0 score line, distinct parallels to Alex in that Cunha will be one of the scorers. He'll get one within the first 10 minutes, and then it will be a Tommy Doyle Thunder Bastard just after half time in front of our fans.
Guys,
I
I'm
was
the
quickly
newest Wolves fan. Why am I the one that really has the greatest grasp on how this is going to turn out, right? We're going to be down 2-1 at halftime because there's going to be some VAR nonsense and they're going to be at a PK. So Wolves are going to be down 2-1 at halftime with the one goal coming from, I think, Neto. Only to storm back. And in the 80th minute, we have a nice goal from Sarabia, who's come off the bench for Bellegardian. And then Dawson finishes it off in the 92nd minute to win 3-2.
Wow.
Caveat there is there's no VAR because it's a championship club.
That's
okay,
right.
well then, yeah, they'll still get some bullshit penalty. I mean, come on. We know how we know how Wolves games go, right?
Questionable officiating knows
Listen,
no
if
bounds.
if anything close to that happens, Josh, I'm running up and down my street, start bollock naked. If that happens, I'm telling you now.
I will wake up my whole house too if they win 3-2 in the what I say 92nd minute. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah, Dawson header in the 92nd minute.
I don't think my heart could take that.
Actually, no, it's gonna be better than a Dawson header. You know that one that came to his feet today and he tried to kick it out of midair? He does that, except he makes it.
I really hope that doesn't happen because if it does, I will do something so crazy. I will make the news in New York City. So fingers crossed.
3-2 Wolves. That's what I'm going with, baby.
Wow.
All right, Paul, let's put a bow on the preview for this game. What are your last thoughts?
It's going to build and it's going to build and there's going to be nerves and there's going to be excitement. But I just want it to be Sunday already. I just want to wake up tomorrow morning and start watching. It can't come soon enough for me.
Andrew?
I agree with Paul. It's I'm sitting here and I'm already my hands are getting sweaty thinking about it. I'm clamming up.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Oh gosh, I'm like, yeah, I'm just excited to see. And I guess my question is to everyone: what color strip are we wearing? Are we going home or are we going red? What do you think?
I saw Stu said he kind of wants red. I don't know. Dan,
We'll see.
what are your thoughts now that you're man, I'm impressed. You worked out for a full hour there.
I would like it's a black country derby. One side's got to wear Tesco carrier bags, and the other side's got to wear some beautiful old gold and black. That's how I want to see it.
Any last thoughts on just the match in general?
I'll say this: I'm glad it's an early kickoff. Weirdly, because I'm not going to sleep the night before. I'm going to be like a kid before Christmas. I'm buzzing. I'm really. It's been a long time coming, and just I cannot wait to turn the pre-match on and just hear the crowd, because I don't think really ESPN does a lot of build-up. So I think we'll get a lot of crowd noise before the game, and I'm really excited to hear that.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm just dead excited, and like the rest of the lads, I just wish it was tomorrow. Just get the game here, and yeah, I haven't been this excited for a game in a long time. So just kind of just want to. I'm looking forward to it, but I kind of just want to get it out of the way.
Danny, man, just hearing these guys talk about it gives me fired up. How about you?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm also extremely nervous. That's sort of my nature, and I'm certain that I've also just sort of absorbed some of that from Twitter. There's a lot of nervous energy about this, you know.
Alex, can you remember the last time with sports that you felt the nerves like these guys are feeling right now?
It would have to be a Packers game for me. I mean,
Yeah.
This past weekend was pretty close, but that heartbreak was tough. Maybe a Super Bowl, in 2010, which the Packers ended up winning. It was probably the last time I was like feeling like this, like, you know, it's a week away or a little under a week away, and you literally don't know how you're going to pass the time to make it there. So I'm excited for it. I gotta say, like, I was excited, obviously, but doing this show and hearing everybody else talk about it and absorbing that, like Danny said, now I'm like, now I gotta have some beers at 5:30 in the morning or whatever it is when my alarm goes off too.
Yeah.
It's like I
Right.
gotta treat this.
And I really think this is
not
what's
like any other
great
game.
about the show is, you know, we really try and cater to these newer American fans like me and Alex, and you guys have really done an awesome job as far as setting the scene and how important this is. Like, this is really cool. And I think a lot of us, the American fans that listen to this, are really going to get an idea on just how important this is. Ryan?
Get us on for a reaction show.
We need like a Twitter space for that one, huh?
Yeah, we'll either be sky high, or we might not answer any of our text messages.
Yeah. I don't want to see one negative text message from you regardless, Mr. Andrew Smith.
I will not. I will shut up. I won't do a thing. Look, my hands are still sweating. What the heck?
Just so Ryan can respond back and go, I completely disagree with everything you just wrote. That was my favorite when you were bashing O'Neal, just writing back, go, I agree.
Oh.
I disagree with everything you just said.
Yeah, and Andy, I love you, but I don't agree with a lot of what you talk about.
It's all right, mate.
There's a reason I call him
It's
our
all
favorite curmudgeon.
That's what it's all about, though. We've all got our opinions. We all see the game different, and listen, you can say what you want. We're all Wolves fans, aren't we? So
That's right.
Yeah,
We're all one
that's
pack in the end, baby.
Exactly.
No Stupid Questions is presented by Esfuerzo Wines. Located just north of Santa Barbara, California, Esfuerzo Wines showcases passion and 3 generations of winemaking in every bottle. So whether you're celebrating a Wolves victory or winding down after a day at work, let Esfuerzo Wines transport you to the heart of California's wine country with every sip. For a limited time, head to esfuerzowines.com and use the promo code WOLVES for a 15% discount on your wine purchases. This message is intended for those of legal drinking age. Do not drink and drive. Excessive alcohol consumption may be harmful to your health. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcohol abuse, please seek help. Esfuerzo Wines reminds you to enjoy their products responsibly and in moderation.
All right, Alex, we have a special Black Country Derby No Stupid Questions segment.
Yes, we do. Of course, it's brought to you by Esfuerzo Wines. 3 generations of winemaking in every bottle. EsfuerzoWines.com. Promo code WOLVES. You'll get a 15% discount off your wine order. So let's kick it off because we got a lot of them. So we're going to blow through these. Chris Fisher, friend of show and frequent guest, says, Wolves looked fairly gassed in the second half against Brighton. Is that worrisome considering lack of depth going into that shithole of a ground on Sunday? Paul, any worries? I mean, I think we all felt what Cunha's legs might have felt like just by watching him. So are you worried at all?
The depth is a little concerning, just in that he can't turn around and look at the bench for a genuine game changer. So there is a hesitation for me based on the strength of the bench.
I think Cunha's like the Energizer Bunny, man. That dude just keeps going, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've just been really, really impressed with not just his fitness, but his attitude. You know, he chases a lot of balls. He's really committed, and I'm hoping if he's as excited about this Black Country Derby as he says he is, he's going to be the driving force that gets us going forward.
Ryan, as a coach, how would you handle the fatigue level this week?
I mean, emotion takes a lot out of you. So I think tempering the emotion and all that kind of stuff is a big thing. And if it can go the opposite way, like they could be too emotional going into the game, and that can sap so much energy out of you. So I think it's beneficial that we've just come off our little break. We've played one game, and then we pretty much have a full week to prepare. So I don't expect it to be crazy this week building up to the game. Like periodization is a huge thing in soccer now. So like they'll have all had a day off like tomorrow will be their day off, and then they'll build up to the game. And I'm sure it's not going to be incredibly crazy. And I'm sure if it means that much to the guys, you know where we'd all like you hear some of the old players when there was a cup final coming up at the weekend, they might not like dangle that leg in a little bit and trying to prepare themselves ready for the weekend. So I think as much as O'Neill has prepared all the players, and he spoke about it before, they're all prepared for it. I think he understands the magnitude of it and understands that this week's not going to be an incredibly tough one, because they need all the energy and emotion and everything that going into the game this weekend. So they're going to be very smart on how they deal with that this week, I would imagine.
All right. Let's move on to another friend of show, Chris Wood, who asks on Twitter/X at WOWpod is where you can tweet at us, by the way. What is your favorite song to sing against that lot? For those of you who have been there in person.
Ryan immediately raised his hand.
Always shit on a Tesco, carry a bag. Did it.
I'm a very big fan of the classic Liquidator, with just the lyrics that they banned from the stadium. You got to stick with the classic "Fuck off West Brom, the Wolves."
Yeah.
If Ryan's singing, then I'm going to sing, and mine is, oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, I do like to walk along the prom where the brass band play. Fuck off, West Brom, and Birmingham.
I love it. Andrew, you got a song? Come on.
No, my voice is terrible. No, I'll go with Paul's. That was great. But the Tesco one was a classic too. Shitting on the bag. I love it.
I love it.
All right. Nick Raytar writes on Twitter, I'm hosting the Black Country Derby at my house with Todd DeWitt, left-leaning Loon, and some other Wolves fans. What's an appropriate and feasible food and drink menu?
Well, they definitely called me out and got it out right early on when they were talking about this. Scotch eggs, baby. Good Scotch eggs.
Ugh.
Exactly.
anything in a pastry and just call it a pie. If you can put Indian food in a pie and it's a Balti pie, you name it, just put something in there, and that's, close your eyes, picture yourself in the Black Country and you're eating a pie.
It's probably too late, but if you can get them on order, scratchings properly remind me of home.
No peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No, Josh. No.
Why do you guys hate
Some nice-
peanut butter and jelly? Man, I had some Uncrustables the other day. They were great.
Oh, man.
A sausage sarnie with ketchup. That would be
What
a
is a
sausage
sausage
sandwich.
sawney?
Sausage sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Proper
Because I was gonna
bangers.
say that sounds like the hot stone room in the spa. That sounds a little
Fry up your sausage, cut it in half, put it on the bread, put a blob of ketchup on it. Lovely.
ketchup.
My nan used to make us dripping sandwiches.
Or HP.
You ever heard of a dripping sandwich? It might be the worst thing you've ever eaten.
Well,
Well, now
what's
you
on
gotta
a
tell us
dripping
what's in it.
sandwich?
Now you gotta
Yeah,
tell
you
us,
gotta
yeah.
tell us.
Well, in
Cholesterol killer.
England, when you grill, you have like the grill and the fat drips into the pan below. So she grew up poor in the Black Country during the war. So she'd take a slice of bread and rub it in the fat at the bottom of the pan, fold that in half, and that was a sandwich.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
And you
Cholesterol killer right
bastards
there.
talk shit about peanut butter and jelly?
Well,
What's wrong with you?
Nice. Danny, did you had a question for the game?
Yeah, I
here.
did. So this is, as frequent listeners will know, I'm a bit pedantic when it comes to pronunciations. And also, obviously, I've fallen in love with English football and one team in particular. And so I, like a good American fan of British football, say Black Country Derby, as does Tim Howard, as does every other American pundit. However, we have a perfectly good word with our own perfectly good pronunciation that's used in Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby. And I'm kind of curious how people who grew up in England think of like Americans saying that word. Because to me, I'm sort of starting to think of it like if you have like a friend from Mexico and you just speak normal, American accented English, and then you insist on saying Mexico every time you say that word, they're like, well, you don't have to say it like that. That's not the way that you say it. Ryan?
If you said Derby in a pub in Wolverhampton, you'd either get the shit kicked out of you, or I don't know what would happen. You'd just get laughed out of the building. You would get laughed out of the building if you said Derby anywhere in Wolverhampton.
You notice I almost said it a couple times and I caught myself.
You did. You almost ruined this question for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I know better.
We are truly two people separated by a common language.
Yeah, it really is incredible how, I always find it, go ahead and put the explicit on this, Alex. It's like the word cunt. Cunt for you guys is just like asshole. Over here in the US, like, holy shit, that is vulgar as hell. And so people watch The Boys and they're like, ooh, he says the C word. And I'm like, look, guys, I've hung out with enough English people. That's basically like them saying turd.
I will say with the C word, the cunt, it's also contextual. I noticed in general, a lot of Americans will use that word to refer to it as a harsher version of the word bitch.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, most guys who use it about somebody who's annoying them, normally almost exclusively a man or their friends. So it's not really said as much in like towards women. So I think we get away with it more. That's one of my observations on that word.
I'm not gonna lie, my 15-year-old girl said it about one of her classmates, and I had to put a kibosh on that one.
whoa.
I don't know if she's been hanging out with some English guy or what, but I was like, whoa.
Maybe I'll start a spin-off podcast just about language differences between the US and the UK. And it'll have to
There you
have
go.
explicit
With my
marked on it
horrible
for every single
pronunciations in
episode.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 1, cunt. Yeah.
And twat. We can throw twat in there as well.
I was certainly caught off guard the first time my Scottish friend called me a cunt in a good way. So that was kind of weird, but I've since become a little bit used to that.
Well, and even more to that point, and to put a bow on that one, so there were some replies as the person who runs the Twitter account. There were some replies to Nick Ratar's question about a food and drink menu that were raging at the fact that Twitter had taken down their reply because they'd used a certain word that starts with F. It has 7 letters, and in America is really not an okay word to ever use, but in Britain, I take it as a kind of food.
7 letters. Am I the idiot? What is that?
Yeah, no, you'll get there. We're not going to.
Are we going to get demonetized or whatever if I say it? I don't want to cross that line.
Sorry, Squares and Wines.
It's a derogatory term for gay people.
Okay, yeah, we got you.
And it also goes great with grey peas. So derogatory term for gay people, and goes great with grey peas.
And mashed potatoes.
I am uncomfortable, so I'm going to move on. The Wolves Whisperer asks, what is the ideal scenario for the rest of this season? Is Europe something us fans should be hopeful for, or should we just be more excited about a full summer with Gary O'Neill?
I'll answer that. I think the ideal situation is winning the cup. Winning the cup and mid-table, and we're good.
Well, that's the thing that gets lost in this rivalry, is that it's also on top of beating them would be a huge game to win.
There's some big EPL teams that are playing each other in this round. So
yeah.
There's gonna be some good teams that are weeded out here. I legit think if they can get through this and draw somebody like Coventry, or maybe I'd like another crack at Ipswich Town.
Or Maidstone.
Do we want to do Maidstone though?
Get George Elokobi to come to the
we don't want to root against George.
Paul, what do you
Anybody
think?
else on that?
You got European dreams?
I think it might be not a stretch, but I think it could potentially build us up and build O'Neill up a little too quickly. I would rather give him that time of having a proper summer. If the shackles are off in terms of profit and sustainability, it could really be a fruitful time for him to supplement this team with some incomings and really put his stamp on it.
Well, we have to remember too, they'll probably have Neto money, right?
Yeah, and that's going to factor into it. So I'm kind of leaning a little more towards that, but then the flip side of it is that European run that we're able to go on, that gave opportunity for not necessarily our starters to get some minutes. Would we have seen as much of Neto that we did initially if it wasn't for that Europa journey? So I'm kind of saying wait on it, but then if we did manage to scrape in, I'd probably really enjoy that Conference League experience and walk up the squad and see how they adjust and have some fun.
Dan?
The scenario that I think we're going to be faced with is missing out on Europe by the exact number of points VAR have cheated us out of at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Which will be a fun thing for us all to talk about.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's true. Amongst you three guys that are guests tonight, do any of you three think there's a legit chance of winning the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Dan?
I think it's very unlikely. I think but we've shown on our day we beat City. So there's nobody in the tournament that we know we can beat everybody in the tournament. Is it likely? No. But if we're looking at a mid-table Premier League run, why not have a cup run and try and go deep as well? If I thought we'd be in a relegation battle, I'd want us out the cup immediately. Focus on the league. That doesn't look like it's going to be the case. If we're going to be comfortable in the league, let's have a little cup run as well. Why not? I missed out on going to the semi-final with Watford, and I regret it. So just for me, let's get to the final.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think we've certainly got a good chance, and especially if we can get through this round. And what are we? We'd be in the 5th round and 1 round away from the quarterfinals, and 2 games away from Wembley at semis. And once you get through this round, it gets real, doesn't it? And everyone kind of takes it a little bit more seriously. But there's nothing better than a cup run, and just to win something would be nice. It would just be just top it all off. And yeah, I think we'd have a good chance if we go through this weekend. And yeah, it'll be a fun ride if we can get all the way to Wembley.
Andrew?
I agree. I think if we get through this weekend, we have a very good, legit shot. There are some tough matchups, and there's some great teams that are going to go out. Somebody has to go. So I think if we get some luck on our side, who knows? That'd be great. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we did make it and everyone on here just said, bugger it, let's just go. Let's just go to the final.
Are you paying for my ticket?
Well, okay, maybe not, but still, it'd be great.
Dan's fucking there, I can tell.
Oh, I missed out.
It would be great.
I remember being literally sitting on the floor of my friend's house, crying after we lost that semi-final to Watford, knowing that I was like saving money to go to the final, thinking we'd make it. If we make the semis this year, money's no option. I'll go into take a loan out from a bank. I'm going.
Nice. I love it. I love the passion, man.
Yeah, I'm giving to go to Wembley if we get there.
Yeah, absolutely, 1000%.
I'll hide in Paul's suitcase.
Yeah, you can be the butler, the American butler.
That's about the role some of the UK guys would probably like me in.
Yeah. All right. So one other thing I would like to nominate as a success for the rest of the season, or goal for the rest of the season. I don't know why. I have a really weird obsession with finishing above Chelsea and probably Newcastle. Like, I just feel like it would be so vindicating for these well-funded, putting it nicely, clubs to finish below Wolves. And we're like 1 win away and them dropping points away from jumping both of them in the table. I don't know why. I had that same thing last year when it was very close, actually, but I would love to finish above Chelsea. Fuck like them. Yeah. And also top 10 I would take because right when Lopetegui got fired, I placed a Wolves to finish top 10 futures bet on DraftKings. And
what was the odds on that?
I forgot. They jumped dramatically as soon as Lopetegui was
probably plus 350 or something, right? No,
yeah,
it had to be more than that.
Oh, way more than that. Yeah,
650.
Like I think it was like 8 something.
Wow.
So,
wow,
nice.
I'd like that. That'd be a nice payoff. Okay, Todd DeWitt. If everyone in the current squad, players who are out on loan included, were all put into a Royal Rumble, who would be eliminated first? Who would win? Which former player would be a surprise entry?
I know there's a lot of wrestling guys. I'll start out by saying, because it says lone players are included, the first one getting knocked out is Giancarlo Guedes because he is soft as toilet paper.
I forgot that
he would be out quick. Former
Does
player.
Daniel Podence count?
Sure I actually think Podence will do well because of his size. I think he'd make it a little bit further. Surprise entry would have to be George Elokobi, right? That would be exciting.
Not
or
for the
Adama, or
yeah, who's winning out of Adama and Elokobi?
Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. And who
oil
would
or
win?
no oil? I mean, that's hard to grasp and throw.
Who would win? I think Lamina pretty easily, but I know Paul loves wrestling.
I've got a somewhat left field winner. I've given this some considerable thought. The winner will be Toti Gomez.
Ooh.
Big, athletic, quick, strong. I think he's got all the makings to enter that and do well. Which former player would be the surprise entry? I think after listening last week, it can only be one. Tomo. Little Tomo comes running in.
Nice.
So I will go for that one. Who will be not eliminated first? I think Saar won't take it seriously enough and have a mistake and cause his own downfall.
Dan?
So I might annoy or offend a few people here, but I think we can say that there's a lot of wrestling has a certain degree of a script.
No,
So I'm saying surprise entry and ultimate winner because of his name and appearance, John DeWolf.
Yes.
Comes in with the long hair. It's John DeWolf, and he wins the Royal Rumble. That's
Love it.
my surprise winner.
That's a great answer.
I like it. Brian, you seem like a wrestling guy too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Surprise entrant could be Steve Ball comes in like Stone Cold, flips everybody off, beers everywhere, and stunning people all at the ring and stuff like that. We'll go. Podence could be like little hornswoggle coming in and going around everybody and going under people's legs and stuff. First to go out would be Lopetegui because as soon as it gets rough, he'll just bounce out the ring anyway. To win it, let's go with Lamina because he'll just beat the shit out of everybody.
It's gonna be tough to beat that Lopetegui.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't last long,
Andrew?
would he?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think to win it all would be Kilman. He's big
Interesting.
lad.
See, I thought Kilman would be out early.
Nah, I think Kilman for me because he's strong, half Russian. You know, he's got that Ukraine or Russian heritage. Strong.
Probably want to get those right.
Yeah.
I agree with Pedence. I think Pedence would be the little, the little guy running around. But who would surprise? I don't really know. I don't have an answer. I'm stumped.
I think from the current squad, I'll give a surprise shout out to João Gomez. I think he's a little pit bull.
Yeah.
He might not have the size, but he would bite onto someone, latch on, and you would not get him off.
Yeah.
Good point. Very good point.
He and Lamina might be one of the fiercer tag teams of any duo in the Premier League currently, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, weren't you the one saying the other day when the two of them are on their game, like you'd hate to be playing midfield against them?
Yeah. Do we get him back for this Sunday, by the way? Or is he still banned?
Sadly,
No,
no.
one more.
No.
This is so against West Brom, that's it, right? And he's
Yep.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he totally would have gotten at least one yellow.
Oh, he'd have been sent right. He'd have been sent off again. You know it.
I imagine playing midfield against Lamina and Gomez is like being in a washing machine full of rocks. You're just going to get bumped and nicked, and every time you get the ball, there's going to be one of them right in front of you to take it off you. It must be horrible to play against the pair of them.
Yeah. It's a shame. I don't think Gomez would have needed to see too much footage to go out there and and play with a certain aggression. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Just go be you, Zhao, would be the instruction, and then he would absolutely just turn it into a crazy physical battle.
This conversation first made me sad because I went to my my sheet of current Wolves players, including loan players, so I could check who's on loan. And I had to move Fabio Silva down to loan, which I hadn't previously done. I think, and that's kind of my answer. Fabio Silva goes out first, if not, very early.
Yeah.
I like the kid. I think he has a future as a striker somewhere, but in the ring, I just don't see it. I don't see him getting far. For a winner, I think some great answers already, obviously. Kilman, Lamina, obvious. Craig Dawson, I think, could be in with a shout. I think I'd be interested to see how far someone like Jean-Rick Bellegarde could go, because he is extremely tenacious. I was really excited today watching him run at people. He has like that Adama ability, or not ability, like tendency to get hit and fall to the ground and then just get up, not waiting for the call, which is obviously immensely impressive because he just wants to get on with the attack. But I'd be interested to see him in the ring, see how he takes on all the comers.
Yeah. Like a French Adama with
Yeah.
some inherent
Mm.
skill that he's just born with technique. All right, let's wrap on this one. Greg asks us, who on Wolves do you think has the strangest pregame routine on match days? What do you picture it looking like? So we base this off of basically nothing, which are the best questions.
Yeah. And he said
who
his
wants-
vote is Saw, and I feel like, yeah, that's definitely the one. Saw seems like somebody who's walking around barefoot doing yoga and like weird jumping jack shit. Paul?
Who's gonna have a I think Neto may be like OCD and have to like put socks and shorts on in a particular order. So I think he'll have all his gear lined up and everything has to happen in a certain routine.
I feel like Sarabia will be doing his hair until like as soon as everyone's going out.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the way out and he's last, just like fixing his hair at the end.
Andrew?
I'm going to say Wang. I imagine Wang is probably very superstitious. Probably does some type of a little jiggly jag dance or something in the
A
in the room
jiggly
before.
jag dance.
Little jiggly dance, little get going, doing something. Who knows? Yeah, I think he's probably very superstitious about stuff.
I imagine with Huang, if he's Korean, so he probably eats a lot of kimchi. If you eat that much cabbage,
absolutely.
you must have to take a real poop before the game. Like he's probably on the toilet for a good 20, 30 minutes before that game is started.
Look,
Oh,
guys,
Dan.
I mean, Dan's right. I live in a Korean household. He's not wrong.
Just got to clear out.
Yeah. Kimchi is good for the gut, baby.
Oh, kimchi smells so bad, but it is absolutely delicious.
It's
so
great.
good.
It's great. Danny, what's yours? Who's your guess?
So for the pregame, I think honestly, Jose Sa is not the answer I'd go with. He's gonna be extremely blasé. He's just gonna walk in, plop his stuff down. He's gonna be very chaotic to everybody else. I think the one who goes with the weird pregame rituals is someone like Cunha. He has to get himself in a very particular mind space to run his complete ass off for 90 minutes, even as his legs are currently falling off.
Is he one of those guys who has people punch him in the stomach beforehand?
Yeah, maybe.
You know who mine would be really weird. I can't figure him out as a guy, but I really love him as a player. And to Dan's point, way early in the show, we miss him so much. Ryan Nori, like I could picture him like eating McDonald's like 10 minutes before they go out to warm up. Like I can't figure that guy out at all. But
do they have
so
a McDonald's
skilled.
in Wolverhampton?
Of course.
Okay.
Got it, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
that's just one guy is like even in this wildly speculative question where we're just accusing guys of doing certain things that they might have never done. Ryan Nuri seems like he might just like live on fast food.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wild card.
Total wild card. Bring him back already. Is that done, by the way, Danny? We didn't do an international update.
We don't have time for an actual update, but basically, Algeria are favored to win their third group stage game. But if they lose it, then he would be coming home, and he would be back home in time for the Black Country Derby.
Who are they playing?
I think it's Mauritania or something.
I couldn't even point that out on a map, but go Mauritania.
Yeah, so
I think
it's very unlikely.
He gave a penalty away, but made a really good tackle right at the end of the other game. They drew 1-1.
Yeah.
I was watching that on TV.
Nice. We miss you, Ryan, you weirdo. That's it for No Stupid Questions. Thanks to everyone who wrote them in. You could always tweet them at us or X them. WLW Pod is the show handle, and email us hello@wholelotofwolves.com if you want long form or you just want to prefer to communicate via email. Just get us there.
All right. Well, I'm going to go through one by one. Andrew, how do they find you in Atlanta Wolves?
So come down to the Buckhead for those Irish pub. We are always there. We have a great turnout. and come by and meet some other guys from the Black Country. Come and say hello. Love to have you.
All right. Dan, how about you and New York Wolves?
You can find us on Facebook at New York Wolves or on Instagram at NYC Wolves. We're at Mikhail's Bar and Grill on West 51st between 8th and 9th. There for all the games. Come and join us for some Guinness.
All right. And Ryan, where are you watching games at these days?
Well, I think I'm the sole member in Rhode Island, being a Wolves fan. So just at the home with the lad. So anybody listening in the New England area, let me know. And I haven't watched a Wolves game with a Wolves fan in America yet. So that's the bucket list. So if you're listening and you're in and around Rhode Island, hit me up and we'll go and watch
Is
the game.
that right, Ryan? You need to come down to Nashville then for FanFest.
Well,
exactly.
You mentioned that. I was actually talking to my wife about it, and I was kind of trying to plan a 3-day getaway down there to come watch the game.
All
Andrew,
right.
I know you're coming. Dan, are you coming to FanFest?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I won't make it. We have a trip booked for the end of April.
No. Okay.
Ryan, I'll give you some advice. Tell her it's a romantic weekend. And then when you get there, I didn't know this was on.
She's too privy to all that. She's too smart for me.
I know I'll be there. I know Paul's going to be there. I think Alex and Danny are both figuring it out. So we're going to have a grand old time there. We'll show them what those American Wolves are all about, baby.
Yeah, I might have to get myself down to Texas to come watch a game with you as well at some point. So
come on down.
That brings this week's show to an end. So we're going to have a pretty quick turnaround because after Sunday, next fixture is a Thursday fixture on the 1st of Feb at home versus Manchester United. So let's see what happens on Sunday. Might just forget that game ever happened and just preview that show, or it could be a celebration all the way through. So we'll always say it together, especially this Sunday. Everybody up the mighty Wolves and
fuck off,
West Brom.
Fuck off, West Brom.
Wolves.